All right, we're back. This is another exciting episode of the Popcast. This is actually an intervention episode because I think we all need it after the dust has settled from the Stranger Things finale, the Stranger Things final episodes, and then this conformity gate, and then this making of. And I think we all just need to...
We need to say it.
We need to say our piece, and we need to close the chapter on this
unfortunate
series of events.
Unfortunate finale.
But, you know...
Well, first, let's just talk about this, because this interests us both.
Okay.
We have a comic today.
All right.
You know I love to pick a comic book that correlates with something I'm about to talk about.
Yes, with current
So
events.
this one, Two-Face is on the cover.
Two-Face is on the cover.
Big cover Two-Face. Because they have apparently...
Can I see that?
Yeah, I guess you can.
Is this mine, actually?
No,
anyway?
this is mine. This is mine. Because they have apparently cast Two-Face in the Batman Part 2. Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky.
That could be legit.
That could be generational. I'll say this, though. Aaron Eckhart, who plays him in The Dark Knight, a phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
Iconic lines. What a story they're able to weave throughout. And I think he just gets criminally overshadowed by Heath Ledger's Joker, who deserves the praise, but I feel like a lot of people forget how good that Harvey Dent
Well, he just is in there, and then he becomes Two-Face, and then he's out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I love that they wrap that up. That's something they won't do these days.
Yeah, they won't do that.
They won't wrap it up. They won't end the movie.
This also has, by the way, Detective Comics number 580. 580. That's a big number. But that was in 1987, and here we are 40 years later. That was 580. 1,100?
I believe so.
So this
they're up of that.
Yeah, so that was basically the halfway point of now. But that also had Robin on it. Is there any rumors for Robin in this episode?
There isn't any rumors, but he's supposed to be in it. He's supposed to be.
Do you think Robin or just the guy that may become Robin?
I think Dick Grayson is supposed to become Robin in it. Maybe. I don't know. They're toying with Damian Wayne Robin for the DCU. Which
but in the Batman universe?
In the Batman universe, I think they want to get Dick Grayson.
That's a little bit of a hard sell in the Batman universe.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be done just right. It's going to have to be done delicately.
Yeah.
With some excellent writing and storytelling and acting.
Which we haven't seen.
Which is an excellent segue.
So Stranger Things 5. We did 1 through 4. We talked about it. And we pinpointed some nails on the head in that episode.
Heads on the nails.
Of... Well, what is the writing here? What's going on? None of it changed, by the way, for the final 4 episodes.
I want to preface this, though. We are fans.
You know what? 4 seasons, you knocked it out of the ballpark.
That's a problem. That's a problem because you have set expectations high. But also, I was very disappointed with the first 4 episodes, but I saw the trailer and you made fun of me. I was like, I think it looks good. I was mistaken. I want to say this too. I was going to boycott the final episode, but I figured we're probably going to do a show. I probably have to do my research and watch it. I did not want to. Yeah. Because I've seen enough.
Yeah. It just is, it's a criminal injustice to Stranger Things as a whole series and the actors, the characters. They did
and to us, the fandom. That's where the criminality is. The crime was against us.
They somehow got everything wrong, too. To the point, people spun the conformity gate theory, which is a secret episode's going to come out to fix everything. Brilliant, guys. I'm glad you guys were able to connect so many dots to the point you were thinking. You even had me thinking, wait a second, there's something here for sure. But then I couldn't help but stop and go, the writing has proven this can't be. If it was better writers, I would be like, yeah, I believe it. But you just couldn't sell me because the writers just don't care. That's something we hit home at in our first part of the Stranger Things duology review we're doing here. With Jonathan and Will building Castle Byers in the daytime in Will's memory, even though you said in an earlier season they built it on a rainy night. So to me, right away, I was like, guys, a lot of this is the writers just don't care about their own story, about their own lore, about what they have done. And that's what we're going to talk about because it's perfectly highlighted in one scene, well, in every scene.
In many scenes. But I think this one encompasses a lot. I think it's sort of a memorable scene. But yeah, I mean, you could go through every scene. You could write. This is not going to be a 2-hour episode, but we could probably talk about this scene and everything that's wrong with it for a long time.
Yeah, but we'll make it quick.
But we'll make it
We
quick
know
just to
we've
hit our
all-
points
yeah.
home. We've all
We've said
rehashed it, but we want to say there was so much you just said that I wanted to comment on, and I just can't even remember.
let's focus
Oh.
on the task at hand.
All right, let's
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we knew that conformity. We were sucked in by conformity gate because it did seem legit.
It was like, wow, a lot of this is like weird and
let me
it's
tell
wrong.
you, that would have been the most awesome thing. That is some TV show now is going to do that,
Oh, absolutely.
and it'll. Unfortunately, the novelty of it will be not as well as it could have been because we all thought that was going to be with Stranger Things. Can you imagine? That would have been genius. That would have been marketing.
It would have been
Genius.
unbelievable, but I will say, no matter what they did there, wouldn't go back and be like, for me personally, it's like, yeah, because the whole idea was conformity gate begins when Steve falls off.
That's the problem. If they would have said conformity gate begins at the end of season 4, you could have.
yeah.
I could have accepted all the bad writing because at that point it would have been bad writing in quotation marks. But you would have been showing that it was the fantasy of the kids, which would have allowed for all these potholes and ridiculous things.
Yeah,
And
there's just too much wrong with episodes 1 through 7.5.
right.
That a secret episode couldn't fix all those problems.
If you did it when Steve fell.
Yeah, which I believe is the theory because, that's when the worlds collided.
But if you would have done it that it happened between 4 and 5, I would have been like, oh, no wonder
But I
that
also
stuff sucks
don't
so
believe,
bad.
I feel like I would have been like, okay, so we just wasted a lot of time though.
Yeah, oh yeah, it would be a waste of it. But also, I was going to say to that point, here's how we knew that it wasn't. Like, we were sucked in, but then we stopped to think about it. Obviously, great pickup by whoever picked it up originally. The school colors are black and green, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if they're black and green, but the school colors somebody, and again, this is a lot of people coming together and pointing stuff out. The gowns are supposed to be green. The gowns they wear.
Whatever they are. Yeah, green and orange. I can't imagine that's school colors. And the grounds are orange. Obviously, jail. Obviously, all these things. But we said to ourselves, that's an accident, and it's just another example of how you guys just don't even care. You don't, like, that would be a sweet thing, but all the stuff that happened in the previous episodes shows that you're just throwing crap at the wall. That must have been, oh, here's the wardrobe trailer. Hey, we got a bunch of orange gowns. Yeah, let's use those. And nobody said, the school colors are not orange. Can we do something about this?
Yeah, the other thing that was picked up, and it was real nuance, was Steve never cared about baseball. At the end, Steve is a baseball coach for the little kids. Steve never cared about baseball. He only played basketball. But because he had a baseball bat as a weapon against Vecna and his army for all those seasons, Vecna just was like, oh, he must have played baseball.
Again.
Brilliant stuff. I mean, that is such layered thinking to, how this could all tie together, how it could work. And maybe even if this Conformity Gate episode came out, you never have to mention that.
Right.
You know, it's just like something in there where people can go, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
But it is just, they just don't care. I will give him a pass, though. Maybe he's just like a coach, and it was the spring sport.
Here's the thing, and this is what I want to bring up. That falls under, I can let it slide if everything else is good.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's probably just a teacher and he's picking up coaching and he just wants to work with kids. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Not a big deal if the rest of it's good. But when the rest of it's garbage, that just becomes another piece of the garbage that you just let slide through because you aren't paying any attention.
Yeah. I think there's just so much interesting stuff with the Conformity Gate theory that has been pointed out. How the kids are sitting at graduation, how they're all sitting like Henry Creel.
But are they? I looked at that one, and it's kind of just everybody sitting sort of neutrally, which happens to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were really doing Conformity Gate, I think they would be more stiff, more upright, and more purposeful with their hands folded in their laps. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them are just sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily. Yeah. But it's a good observation by fans that care more about the show
than the
writers. And whoever's directing and whoever's behind the camera.
And I think a lot of the writing too at that end is just so what I mean by disservice to the character, Mike and Nancy, I believe in season 1 or in season 2, they have a real bonding moment. These are two characters that are hardly together. Mike and Nancy, even though they're brother and sister. So they have a few crucial moments of the relationship, and one of those crucial moments is them talking about how they don't want to become like their parents. That's their biggest fear. Okay, and the show ends and they're just like their parents. Nancy even has the same haircut. And again, that's what people were saying. They have the same haircut as Henry, and Nancy has the same haircut as her mom, and Mike looks like his dad with the glasses and the hair and everything, and he looks like Henry as well. And again, it's just like, yeah, that would be perfect if it was conformity gate, because again, it's like a little sign that something's off. But it turns out the writers just didn't care. And they just were like, this is just going to be the ending. We don't even really notice that they're becoming like their parents. We literally are too dumb to notice we wrote them to end up like their parents, to the point they all have the same haircut. And it's like, you did such a disservice to those characters, Mike and Nancy.
We could do an hour-long podcast on disservice to the characters and go through each character.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't give Mike the baseball bat or Steve the baseball bat at the end. It's a disservice to it's a disservice to fandom.
I would never be able to understand how that wasn't there.
Right, because if you
Stranger Things iconic weapon.
Right, there is no other iconic weapon in Stranger Things.
Yeah, they somehow managed to get the baseball bat with the nails in season 1. It's Steve's heroic moment where he fully comes through his arc of redemption and he picks up the bat, beats the Demogorgon. Season 2, just as iconic, when he's with Dustin for the first time. Dustin even goes, "Can you have that bat?" That's like the first lines they share. And it's just like,
you get to the finale and guess what?
He doesn't have that?
Doesn't have the bat.
Why not? How could you not write that in there and go, I'll give him the bat? Even if he doesn't use it, make sure he's like holding it or something.
It's obviously not as criminal as having Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill, and not putting him in the Millennium Falcon. But it's along those lines. It's like, why wouldn't you? They're going to battle. I would imagine maybe Dustin hands him this stick with a knife on it, and he goes, "Guys,
not my style.
Not my style.
I got my own, or something."
Because he easily could. I mean, if you wanted him poking those sacks, that's what you had to arm him with those for. Conveniently enough, they're spears that poke. You could have done that with the bat with the spike on the end, or you could have hacked at it. I just don't know.
So there's a lot wrong.
There's a lot wrong.
But we're going to specifically focus on the scene with the Demodogs in the hospital hunting Lucas, Robin, and Vicky, and Max, who's unconscious.
When Max gets saved.
Yeah.
Saved.
Which is episode
and even
6.
this, we could backtrack what sets up the episode. Because what sets them going up to the hospital is that they discovered the trick to save Max. And they don't tell you, which is a good narrative because that keeps you in suspense. They just say, I know how we can save Max. And then they go, but then you never see how they're going to save Max, because it just coincidentally happens that she's coming through the portal. Just coincidentally.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything to get her out of the portal.
Yeah. There's a lot wrong with this scene.
The setup of the scene.
It's a setup, and we'll just start right away. Vecna is like, I'm going to go kill Max. That's what he's doing. For some reason, he
again, we can go before this. There's all kinds of stuff wrong with.
But we'll just get to the point here.
But let's just.
I'm going to kill Max, so I'm going to send 3 Demodogs, and they're going to start outside the hospital
in the parking lot.
Let's
just say,
even though in this season we've seen, I need to go get Holly Wheeler. I'm going to send a Demogorgon right in her room, right where she's laying, and this thing is going to mess the whole house up to get her. So why isn't Vecna sending a Demogorgon right into Max's room?
To the hotel, or to the hospital. Now again, this falls under the classification of, this stuff happens in movies all the time, and you let it slide. If everything else, you don't even think about it until afterwards. You're like, oh yeah, why didn't you just put the...
Yeah.
If everything else is good. But in this case, everything else is so bad that you're just like, this is another stupid thing. Yeah. But here's, may I go? Okay, so you drop them off in the parking lot, and they act like Demogorgons, which is spastic, just running through everything, just out of control. Except when we get to the hallway, which is this wide with 2 people in it, I don't kill everybody in my path. I kill the police officer and the other police officer
even though we're not going after them, we're going after Max, but because these guys are here, we're going to kill them because they're right near Robin, and they're escorting Robin out, they're arresting Robin. So this is a convenient way to save Robin, but she's not going to die. The Demogorgons are
Not
going to
going to
kill
die,
the guys.
obviously. Not going to get scratched. Not going to have to fight her way out. She's just going to go up against the wall and watch them get slaughtered, and then the things go about their spastic way.
And there's one more little treat we have to mention here. The Demodog's head grabs one of these officers and starts slapping him around like Hulk did Loki in the Avengers. That's important because it's like, this is how strong this creature is. It's a monster, and we've seen how strong they are. And again, they're spastic, they're full speed running at you.
Which I believe is the way they usually always are.
Correct.
So we've established that these creatures are
Kind of out of control.
they're not a precision instrument. They're
not the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park.
let's just say, for example.
Let's just say that.
Let's just say
Everybody
that for right
remembers
now.
1991 classic
just plant that
Jurassic
seed.
Park. The raptors were apex hunters. They were communicating with each other. They were sly and tricking. There's a famous Mulden line.
Yeah.
Clever girl. Because they're hunters and they worked in that way. And you made sure of that. You set up, you have a giant T-Rex, and you have an awesome scene with the T-Rex, but the scariest part was the raptors, because you don't see them, and everybody's talking about them. You know, we can't let those guys get out. Those would be a real problem. Not the T-Rex. The raptors are the problem.
Mind you. All right, we got to move on because we
Yeah.
don't want to spend too much time on this. So we've established that they're spastic. They destroy everything in their path except conveniently one of the good guys who's also standing right there. Okay, and then they beeline up to the hospital room, but at the same time they make an announcement over the
Speakers.
And
surround.
Robin says, Robin's girlfriend, do they understand English? She says no. Apparently they do, though. Because the announcement is, Lucas, there's Demogorgons coming for you, go to the basement. They show up at the basement moments later.
Yeah. So either they can sense where Max is, or they understand English. Either way, there's a problem.
Either way, there's a problem. All right, so then we have the mom waking up after a week, 2 weeks.
Mrs. Wheeler.
First thing she does is hear the announcement, and she decides she's going to go fight the Demogorgons despite
Getting
having
slammed.
bed sores after a week. But that's not the worst part.
The worst part is she's walking out of the room, and she conveniently looks to the side, and for some reason there's there's flammable oxygen canisters just sitting in the corner in abundance, and she goes,
that's for some reason.
Yeah.
But then for some other reason she goes,
I'm gonna grab one of those and take it with me. Lady, you can barely walk. Okay? For whatever reason too, this announcement involves me for some reason. Which I guess I can believe. If she hears Lucas, that's a kid that's always been at her house. But also it's like,
I'm going to run down to the basement.
yeah, well, this might not even be the Lucas I know, because why would he be in the hospital, and why would this random girl on these speakers be talking to him? But sure, she gets up to go save Lucas.
But again, sure, go down to the thing. Sure, grab an oxygen canister. Why? That's the exact thing that's going to... I mean, it's so convenient. It's so...
And that's the whole season. Everything is so convenient and contrived for...
convenient and contrived.
Every scenario whatsoever. To the point it's willy-nilly, like we were saying. 11's powers.
Let's hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so she makes her way down. Lucas just manages to get into the elevator with one of these things. What do you think one of them weighs?
It's got to be at least
200 pounds?
200 pounds.
A good 200
I would
pounds.
say it's like some
Unless
weird
Ogleplex has anti-gravity properties and it makes them super light so that they can be kicked down a hall. That makes perfect sense. We got to go into toxic fandom here at some point, but let's stay on task here. So you got to figure he weighs 200 pounds. He's running full speed. Lucas, who's holding
Max.
somebody his own weight, and he's not a jock, he's not a muscle guy, so he's struggling to carry this chick down the hall. He's got his back to the elevator, and just do yourself a front kick. Just
Wherever you are.
wherever you are, just do it. There's not a lot of power there.
No.
There's not a lot. You got to turn your hip and project that way. There's no power in a kickball kick. I mean, you can kick somebody in the nuts and maybe go up, but he kicks that thing that's running at him full force, 200 pounds, kicks it down the hall, out of the way.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
In case you never did physics, it's not going to work. This
not.
is a barreling monster full speed to a stagnant human being.
Which you just showed this thing grabbing a guy and whipping it around by its head, whipping around another 200-pound guy.
Yeah, it's not...
Again, I understand a lot of movies, you're going to have a lot of leeway, it's suspension of disbelief. But again, you're just stacking within 45 seconds, you're just stacking these things on top of each other, on top. And at some point, the suspension of disbelief just crumbles into, okay, this is just bull crap.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's just, you have to have something anchored in reality so that when suspension of disbelief comes up, you have the credibility and you're like, all right, I can let that slide. Stuff happens.
Yeah, and again, it's not even like a sci-fi Star Wars world. It's supposed to be real world Indiana.
I got something on that too when you say science fiction, because I had a Facebook post that somebody, and I commented on it, and they go, well, it is science fiction, and they had fiction in capitals. The fiction in science fiction isn't do whatever you want, whenever you want,
however you want to do it.
However you want to do it. The science fiction in science fiction is, in this universe we have light speed. In this universe there's monsters that live in space. In this universe we have spaceships and laser beams. That's the fiction part of science fiction, not everything we're mentioning right now. It's not just you can do whatever you want.
Okay, then it's still a bad story. Yeah, you're right, it is made up, but also it was bad. You could say that. I just don't need. That's just such a non-existent argument. Goes to the toxic fandom we're talking about. Okay, but why does Star Wars work? Why can everybody sit there and watch Star Wars and go, "Oh, that's good"? Because there's rules and logic to.
And let me give you what I've been talking about, where you have suspension of disbelief. Empire Strikes Back, one of the most well-known. I don't know if you want to call it plot holes or whatever. And it took a long time for people to really think about it. It's not like you walked out of the theater and said, "Wait, how long was Luke on Dagobah?" Because Han and those guys, that seemed like a day or two, and Luke seemed like a month. You had to, but you build up enough credibility and goodwill with the audience that you, number one, you don't even notice it because you're so engrossed in the show that you don't even really think about it when you're watching that movie. And it, like I say, nobody left the theater going, "Hey, wait a minute, what about that?" It took years of analysis by people. Somebody finally said, "Wait a minute, what about that?" You know what I mean? So you can have those things happen if everything around it, and your fans are going to forgive you, or the audience is going to forgive you, or not think about it because everything else is so good and you're so engrossed in the show. But this, I'm watching it in real time right there. It's not like I went and thought about it. I'm watching this going, she picks up the oxygen tank. Before she even uses it, I'm like, you are in a rush to pull things out of here.
Why would you even... There's no logical thought to grabbing it.
No.
Literally, you wouldn't be like, "What? You're going to swing that around?" Because those are like...
That's my only thing is she thinks she's going to use it as a club.
But she's injured and cast and cut, so she can't even use it as a club. Grab an oxygen tank, those are like metal casings.
Yeah, they're not light.
It's not... Yeah, I just can't even... There's no logical reason other than the fact that...
Well, there's going to be a dryer down there. Let's not even get into that yet.
Because... So then he manages to kick the Demogorg out of the elevator.
Keep in mind, his boombox is playing this whole time.
Yeah. Kick the Demogorg out of the elevator, gets downstairs right at the same time, Robin and Vicky. There's no confusion about where anybody is. Oh, go downstairs. The downstairs of a hospital? How big is the downstairs of a hospital?
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
So they all meet up.
But again, that's...
whatever.
That's whatever. I can let that slide. I didn't even think about that till now, but yeah, whatever.
So they all meet up. The Demodogs are right there. Because they're hunting Max, so they know where Max is. That's why Vecna sent them to the hospital. That's why they were going right to her room and chasing her down the halls and down into the basement. And that's why they're there, to get Max, so they know where Max is at least how I thought of it. Because it's all hive mind, and Will knows where Max is, and Vecna now knows. So they know where Max is. And they're hunting her, they have her scent or something, or they're following noise from a boombox. So these three characters and the one unconscious one, oh, we're trying to escape. and they end up hiding. And this where it just...
They lock the door, heavy steel door in the basement of a hospital. Again, that's not a light thing.
No.
And again, these things are running after them in a spastic manner, as they have for 4 seasons.
And as they have this whole scene so far.
Just, we're nuts.
They run into the walls. And
they don't even put on the brakes going around the corner. They're just...
Yeah. Run right into the door. Run the door off the hinges.
Well, wait. Yeah, the thing that got kicked down the hall in a weak kick breaks down the steel door. They go hide behind these dryers, whatever they are. Still playing the boombox, mind you, and talking amongst themselves.
Yeah. Two more whispering, one of them is playing the boombox.
I will say this, that at that point, when they're hiding, I think that was some of the better acting between all of them, especially Lucas. So shout out to Lucas in this scene, because the rest of the series is just surrounded by a horrid acting. And I think that's objective. I don't think nobody's arguing that. Okay, so the music's playing.
So these things ram through the door, and then all of a sudden, this is probably what happened. They're sitting there writing, and Jurassic Park had to be playing in the background, is my guess. Or they watched it the day before, and they were like, let's make I really like the way this scene plays out with the Velociraptors. Because it's 1-for-1, 3 Demodogs walking through the door, and now they're prowling and stalking. They even do the little thing where the one snaps at the other, which is something the Velociraptors do quite often in Jurassic Park. I think they do it in that scene where they kind of, get at each other as they're going through the door.
Why all of a sudden?
But why are they methodically clearing the room now? That's the problem we're wanting to discuss.
That's a huge problem. It's a gigantical problem because, as I said, as I've been noting throughout this Popcast, they're just spastic. Like they could clear those 2 rooms that they just broke into in 14 seconds by just flipping all around.
But now you're trying to demonstrate...
These guys pose no threat.
Yeah.
These kids have no weapons. They pose no threat unless that one was so scared that he got kicked down the hall that now he's going to be a prowler.
Yeah.
I got to be careful.
I might get kicked again. I could get shot and blown up, but I'll be fine from that. But you just switched it completely to the point where you're taking out the scene. You go, wait, what is this? Why are they acting like this? Why are these 3 creatures that have been nothing but out of control now moving methodically like the raptors from Jurassic Park?
While the radio is playing, these people aren't even really hiding physically. I mean,
it's not
visually them. I guess they're hiding, but they're playing the radio, and they're talking.
And they're not playing a trick again, like the girl in Jurassic Park was screaming, banging on that thing, and it was reflecting her. So the Velociraptor ran and hit it, and then she ran and hit again. They're not doing that. They're stagnant in one place, playing the radio. And again, these things
let's say that the things are so intelligent that they think it's a trick. Hold that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, perfect. You're right. So they're being careful because they don't know what's happening and they're confused. And all of a sudden,
which is dumb. But let's just say,
all of a sudden they had a moment of profound clarity and mental thought that they're now, okay, you go down that hall, you go down this one. I'm going to go up top here because we're apex hunters, we're stalkers, we're methodical. They never, again, somehow they pinpoint Max throughout this whole chase, and now they can't.
Now that they're within 4 feet of her, they just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Despite, again, the radio is playing.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a mystery where they're at.
Either the radio's playing or they know where Max is. Either way, there's 2 available options to these things to
pinpoint.
Know. Yeah. But just as they're about to get there,
conveniently,
the mom is able to sneak in, place the oxygen tank in the dryer, start the
without
dryer,
making a sound,
and leave without a sound.
She places a 50-pound metal tank in a metal dryer. You don't have to push the buttons.
That's what I'm saying. There was noise at some point. I don't know. But okay, so
closing a dryer door, it always it's not silent. It's not like the refrigerator. It makes a click and you gotta close it. Radio that's playing the music that you know is connected to the girl who you also psychically contract. That noise not leading you anywhere. a noise in the background. All of a sudden now you become spastic idiots again.
Run to it and look at it like dumb little puppies.
Which
Until
again,
it
now we've got a
explodes.
third personality switch
Yeah.
to comedy relief.
Oh, ooh, they even make like a goofy noise. They're dumb little puppies and they just watch this thing go and go and go. That's not what you're after, so why are you still there?
Yeah, your excuse for why they just ran through everything and killed these police officers and they were just trying to get to, well,
Max.
wouldn't they run over there and look and go, that's not Max. I do hear that song that she's been carrying around, they've been carrying around, and I do have my psychic connection to her, and this is not that. So wouldn't they leave?
Yeah, but the thing blows up.
Let's rewind for a second there. Is a dryer, an industrial dryer, really going to get hot enough in 7 seconds to blow up an oxygen tank? Wouldn't it have to heat the metal of an oxygen tank first? It's so erratic. It's so...
And those don't just like blow up.
And
those don't just like heat
I've
up.
seen the Mythbusters, but let's pretend. I know that stuff always blows up in movies. I could let that slide if
But then-
everything else was solid, but it's not going to happen in 7 seconds.
And here's my problem. We continue with this scene, and it's supposed to be like a big reveal of like who did that. It's not, because we've been keeping track of every single person this whole season. Literally every character is being kept track of to the point there is no shock and reveal or a question of who's saving them. We know exactly who's saving them because you showed us the mom waking up,
And
grabbing
picking
the
up an oxygen tank, and then you show the oxygen tank in slow motion in the dryer.
Like, so it's like you're trying to build suspense here by covering her in the smoke and the explosion debris. But it's like, what is this? I know who it is. I know exactly who it is because you made sure I know who it was.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been better if we don't see the mom at all until that moment. And then you could be like, oh, I forgot she was in the hospital, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't even be like, maybe the oxygen tank was right there. You know, you could give it even more leeway.
Yeah, you're
Maybe the
right. If
oxygen
you didn't,
tank was
if
right
you just
there.
showed her waking up, hearing that announcement and pulling out her IV, and then we don't see her again.
I don't even need that. We
right.
know she's in the hospital.
Yeah.
I watched the show. I get she's.
Then
in
I
there.
don't have to imagine she grabbed an oxygen tank from her room, carried it downstairs.
The problem here is they reveal her and she's grunting and screaming in pain because
She can't because
she's injured.
Yeah, it's 'cause
So why wasn't she grunting and screaming? I don't care if you're holding your breath. If you're that much in pain, you let it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You just. And reasonably, she's in pain.
It's
She
bad.
got mollywopped by a Demogorgon. She's in a cast.
So obviously horrible. Obviously, we could keep going. We've been brushing over and stopping ourselves.
Yeah.
Again, you could have a seminar on this scene and all that's wrong with it. Acting, directing, writing, visually, character arcs, etc., etc., etc. Keep in mind that while this is all going on, you have the other miserable scene of Max in the Upside Down and Dimension X, wherever she is. I don't want to go into that right now, but that's just as bad.
Yeah.
They're cutting those scenes together.
Yeah. And again,
And you could pick multiple scenes, at least one scene per episode, where it's just so bad like this. And this is a 3-minute scene.
Yeah.
And you've used up all your goodwill, you've used up all your suspension of disbelief, and now I'm not in the show because it's so bad that now I'm looking for, oh gosh, they're gonna try this now? Oh, this is what you're going with now? You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean because I unfortunately watched this all.
And this is why I didn't want to bother with, and I'm gonna say this, if this was season 1 of an unknown series, do you think there would be a season 2?
No. Everybody would be ripping on this to the point the actors might not even have jobs after this.
Yes.
Because there's no Again, we talked about this probably in the first one. There's just so much, like, what is this chemistry that's happening? Why is there no chemistry? Because again, for
I'll tell
4
you why
seasons,
there's no chemistry.
you showed for 4 seasons, you can just pluck any 2 characters from the show, put them together, and they just start going. To the point it's like, I do believe they know each other. I believe they've been through not just one stressful situation, multiple, and they're all kind of on the same page, even though maybe they never talk.
Right.
But they're all like, oh, it's one of those monsters. Oh, okay, well, whatever. And they can go. But this season was like, have these people never interacted with each other before? I've had more chemistry with people I'm literally meeting for the first time in my life than these actors had in this season.
So why do you, obviously, the actors themselves as real people have chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
And have on-screen chemistry with each other. So what do you think is the difference between the first 4 seasons and this season that it's such a train wreck in that regard?
I don't know.
I'll tell you
this
what.
This documentary might shine some light on it. Apparently there was some ChatGPT use happening for this season, to write this season.
That would explain a lot for you people that want to use ChatGPT. It's useful for some things, but if you're going to say, write me a script for Stranger Things, you're probably going to get not the heartfelt...
Yeah, you're going to miss... Yeah, use it for an essay or something.
Use it for an essay, man. Come on.
That's because that's soulless anyway. That's just tired work for people to do. But there's something, if you're writing, real or not, you have to have a human writing that, because only a human can write human interaction.
But why do you think that guy had to have ChatGPT up on his windows while he's doing the writing?
Funny enough, it's because apparently the scripts were never really written by these two, but their wife, who's now their ex-wife, funny enough, she was the wife for the first 4 seasons. Then they got a divorce before season 5. And people knew she did a lot of help with the writing, but now
apparently she was not helping. She was carrying the water.
Yeah, apparently that's what was going on.
I think have the Duffer Brothers done anything else?
No, and I don't think
I'm gonna lump them in with George Lucas then. And I'll explain. First of all, I think it's obvious they had an idea, and this lady came along and shaped it and refined it and made it what it was. George Lucas, I never saw American Graffiti, I never saw THX 1138, which was his early movies. But I know that since Star Wars, what's that guy done?
Yeah.
Nothing. I think that guy got lucky and somehow pulled off Star Wars, and he's been living on that gravy train ever since, which God bless him. But, the prequels he had a large hand in, and they're largely regarded to be not too good.
Yeah.
Other writers did Empire. I don't know that he directed anything after Star Wars. People give him some credit for Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I think it was his idea. Spielberg got turned down for doing a 007 movie, and so George Lucas was like, hey, I got something that's like that, but better. So I think he had the idea, but you can't tell me that Spielberg didn't come in and go, you know what, you got something there, let me run with it.
And then on top of that, you throw prime Harrison Ford in there.
Yeah.
It's hard to really not get something out of that.
But then you hear what he wanted to do, like Crystal Skull was a lot of his ideas, and how did that movie go over?
Best one.
Like he wanted to have I always hear he wanted to do this with Indy, and you're like, I don't know how that would have went. Good thing we didn't get that
comic adventure.
Yeah. So I think the Duffer Brothers kind of might fall into that category, because how long Stranger Things been out?
Since season 1?
10 years.
10 years.
So you ain't done nothing else in 10 years? And we get to this season, season 5, and this is what you throw out there when you don't have somebody
helping you.
helping. Yeah, when you don't have somebody doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah. It's very clear, at least to me, with all the rumors and then that documentary and all the stuff that's coming out, I just think they aren't as good as people thought they were. I think that lady definitely wrote season 1 through 4. If not all of it, 75% of it.
Right, I think she was.
And I think she was definitely the heart of a lot of the dialogue, the character dialogue. Maybe not the conspiracy ideas, but even those are taken right from real life. The Mom Talk Project.
Well, they went off the rails with it here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So let's get into narrative. There's some things to be critical of. I think we all agree the acting was bad. Not up to par of what it was. I go back to one of the first 2 episodes. The first time Hopper has to say, oh, I don't want to lose you, Elle, and he's pretending to cry or something. I almost started laughing. The acting was so bad. And again, I say if this was season 1 of a show, season 2 would have never gotten made because it was that bad. But there's some things like narrative choices. Okay, you can go either way.
And you can't critique a narrative choice.
Yeah. You can not like it. You can be like, I would have done this. But they stacked so many wrong narrative choices on. Again, 1 or 2 or 3 you can get away with if everything else is good. But you pick the wrong thing every step of the way. For example, the cast. Adding cast members. Okay. I don't know if I'm down for that narrative choice at this point in the series.
Yeah.
But okay, let's see. But then you recast Holly, who's never been a part. Okay, whatever. Then there's Derek. Okay, that's who I'm supposed to get behind now. And we're gonna make that the central focus of this whole thing.
And you lose Mike. You completely lose Mike.
You might as well have scratched that guy.
11 also feels very like pushed down the line of main characters. Mike is the worst though.
That poor guy. He got screwed.
Yeah, he was the main character of season 1, and I get maybe the popular consensus was, we like Dustin more or
whatever
Lucas or whatever.
He's still one of the main there. 4 guys.
Yeah, you have to keep him around.
What's the other psychic girl's name? Callie. Okay, we're gonna bring back Callie, the girl from the episode that nobody likes, and the girl that nobody likes. Let's bring her back.
I don't know if I would have done that.
Okay, that's a narrative choice you can make, but if I'm in the room, I'm like, do you remember that episode got dragged because it was so bad and nobody really likes that girl? And I'm going to ignore that.
And we have enough characters. It would be different if it was like, we have 3 people left this season because we started killing them all last season. You have 10, you literally have already 10 characters. You don't need to add 5 new ones to be focal points and hinges for the show or plot lines for the show.
Nobody dies. People are... And again, this is a narrative choice. I get it. We don't want anybody to die. This is more of a kids show. It's not Game of Thrones. Narrative choice. I get it. But you still need to... And people were comparing it. Well, it's like the Goonies. Nobody dies in the Goonies and nobody, rips on that. Yeah, but... I felt those kids were in danger. I felt like there were some stakes.
And the Goonies is like an 80s, complete good. Like 80s, not even coming of age, a little bit before coming of age. Yeah. This is like supposed to be, at least season 1, horror, paranormal, and the writers even were saying to the build-up of this, it's going to be, people are going to die, it's going to be bloody,
whatever. Which you shouldn't have been doing if you knew that nobody... Yeah, you should. Because you're all you're doing is up for criticism.
Yeah. So you can't be saying that's what's going to happen and then not have it happen. And then the toxic fandom defending it saying, well, this is like an 80s show. This is like, it's supposed to be like it's from the 80s. Okay, I get that. But that's like their defense for when people go, well, how is nobody dying? How is this battle over in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the 80s. It's like a movie from the 80s. It's like the Goonies, like how you're saying. They have such a fan base defending everything we just talked about. You could go, we'll post this online. Hopefully, the Stranger Things fandom finds it on YouTube, and we can just read the comments of complete absurdity they're putting of defense after defense. And it's like, guys, it's just not...
To that point of...
It's not worth
we just live in such a society where you have to either hate it completely entirely or love it completely entirely. And I go back to Godzilla movies. I was 12, 13, 14, past the time when you're supposed to like Godzilla and old horror and think it's cool because it's so bad. You know what I mean? It's so...
Whoa! No, it is corny. It's corny.
It's corny. But I thought it was cool. I'm not going to defend the acting.
No, you can't.
I'm not going to defend the storylines in those things.
There's not much of one.
I'm not going to defend the special effects. I'm not going to defend the physics of Godzilla jumping around and do... I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's schlocky, it's corny, but I like it. I can say that, it's not top quality, it's not Shakespeare. But I like it. You can say the same thing about Stranger Things. You know what? They botched the 5th season. The actors were not up to par. But I like Stranger Things,
And I will
you know what?
always
It's better than
defend-
nothing.
I will always defend season 1 especially. Season 1 of Stranger Things, phenomenal, out of the ballpark. Season 4 is my second favorite because it is that good. And the Hawkins storyline in that feels like Stranger Things season 1 and 2. Season 3 I'm not the biggest fan of. I feel like they went in a little bit of a weird direction with theme and just like...
But see, at that point, there was so much
Whatever.
goodwill build up, and they didn't betray you all the time.
Yeah.
So you can completely live with
I could
season
watch
3.
it. Yeah, and I think it is an outlier in terms of like the feel of it. I feel like season 1, season 2, season 4 all happened in like the fall, and season 3 was just in the summer and the neon and whatever. It was very like 80s look. It's 80s fashion they really leaned into. But yeah, it's like
You're okay with it because
it's just
didn't
not my
betray
favorite
you.
season.
Yeah, it didn't betray you.
No,
at every
it
turn.
still had all the
and every
elements.
5 minutes, they weren't trying to. You didn't have to defend it every 2 minutes. Like you do
be like,
this
no,
one.
no, look, it's okay because this is Oobleck or whatever.
Yeah, like
It's
what they're
none of
doing
that.
now. Like if there was a Mothra scene in the old Godzilla movies, you could see the strings.
Yeah.
What would be happening now is people would be trying to make up in-universe reasons of what those were. Those aren't strings. Those are rays coming down from outer space that give him this power. That's what they would be. No, it's bad special effects.
Yeah.
That's what we have here. It's bad writing, but people are trying to go, oh, there's Ogleplex on them. And no, it's bad writing. Just let it go. You like it, it's okay. But don't try and make up reasons why in universe that these things are happening.
Yeah. You can absolutely. You can just like it. And like I'm saying, I will always like season 1 through 4 of Stranger Things.
I'll throw out there too that this would be canceled if it was a season 1, but also if you were younger, I would not allow season 5 to be viewed.
I'd be left wondering
This
what
would be
happened.
a band in my house.
I'd be left wondering what happened.
You would be wondering. I would just be hoping maybe there'd be a reunion in 10 years, and that could be episode 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so you had a great run. You had a great 4-season run. I'm still waiting for a show to stick the landing. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think any, to this caliber, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, have stuck a landing yet. You know? And Walking Dead is just because we're still doing this. You know, just wrap it up.
Yeah, it just got to be long.
Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah, with like spin-offs and everything. It's like, what are we
Yeah.
doing, guys? Wrap it up. The show is over.
So they made a lot of bad narrative choices, and you pile all that on top. I mean, you could go into the whole storyline with Will.
I mean, you could pick anything.
You could pick the whole storyline with the 12 kids. Well, here, let's go to this. This is a problem with Hollywood in general right now, not just this specific show, but I think this specific show really zeroes in on what the problem is. They needed an 8th season. There's not a season's worth of material
No.
in those 8 episodes.
Yeah, because in season 4, you were like, it's going to an end. It's going to an end point. And now all of a sudden, it didn't feel like that. It felt like we were dragged for 7 episodes to get to an ending where we
And that's
kind of
all it
already
was.
were.
Yeah, I think you could have went from season 4 to maybe a half hour, take a half hour off the end of the finale where everybody's just crying and talking. Take a half hour off the end, put it at the front and give us a little build up to connect season 4 to this finale movie that's 2 hours long, and you could have not had any of that.
Yeah.
It's 12 children. I don't even want to go into that, why that's so stupid. And how you
Everything
made
about that is bad.
How you
That's
made
just
the
bad.
focal. Yeah, it's just terrible writing. Should we go into it?
No.
All right, we're not going.
We're already, I don't know how long this is, but
Yeah, if
that would
if
turn into something.
If you were a fan of that storyline,
You might be wrong. That might be
you
an
might be
objective wrong.
You might be objectively wrong. Yes. So, all right. And then one other, but I think the problem, part of the problem was Netflix was like, we need a season 8. No, you can't just wrap it up in a movie that would be quality. We need quantity because we need 8 episodes. We need to have a season. We got to fuel the machine, and that's where you're getting into, commercialism versus creativity.
Yeah.
And passion.
There was no passion here. There's ChatGPT and who knows what else.
But I just don't know how much of that was necessary at all.
It wasn't. It's like you said, we got fill up some episodes, and it probably was, listen, let's do like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, just do a 3-hour movie. Would have been way better. And then I think we have, going back to the Predator scene, or not the Predator scene, the demagogue scene, whatever they are, and they suddenly turn into velociraptors. I think we have such a young group of people writing that unfortunately they've been brought up on cell phones. They have no attention span. Some do, but they aren't the ones that were writing this show. I mean, there's a lot of good kids that do have attention span and can connect dots. They were not writing this show. They just, like you said, let's do Velociraptor. Because that whole scene, as soon as they go down there, it's the first thing I thought of. Because they're in with them dryers and whatever, and there's reflective surfaces, and they go hide. It's the first thing I thought of, which I'm sure is what they were going for.
Yeah.
But they don't know what made that scene that scene. They're just trying to duplicate, like you say, let's have them snip at each other. That's not what made that scene.
It was an extra they don't know what they're doing.
It was an extra characterization of the raptors.
Yeah.
And you can't just steal that and put that on the Demogorgons and think you've got the same thing. You are trying to pay homage to that scene, but you don't know what made that scene.
And it almost is disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful, actually. It's not almost, it's terribly disrespectful. I don't know how, there's so many things in these episodes, I don't know how somebody, like even if you're just like the gaffer or some second guy that this is the first time you've never read the script, but you're watching them shoot it, doesn't somebody go, he's playing the boombox right now? Yeah. Make sure it's up, Lucas. Turn that up. So we're gonna add that sound in later. He's playing the boombox. Yeah, he's playing the boombox. And the monsters are in right here. I can't see them right now because we're gonna add them in. And yeah. Wouldn't they just find them? Wouldn't they just go to the sound? Nobody says that.
I don't know. It's a shame what happened.
It's a shame what happened.
At the end of the day, it's a shame what happened here. And again, I think we've said our piece on it by using this one scene. Lord knows, because we've talked about it, we weren't even going to do this episode, but we kept coming back to Stranger Things.
I literally can't sleep at night.
I'm like talking about it.
I got as a therapy session for me because.
And there's always something new that we end up going, dude, that is wrong. And then this is, and then this, and then this. I don't know if there's worse scenes, but again, I mean,
you go to
Nancy and Jonathan in the melting room. We won't get into it because again,
we could go on.
It's just beat to death at this point. I feel. I mean, it should be if not. But yeah, we could literally go through scene by scene, and I don't know how many scenes this show would have over the course of 8 episodes, over an hour long each, that are passable to be like, I can watch this.
Passable, not good.
Yeah,
passable.
Passable to sit there and go, okay. Yeah.
I'll give you one. Let me just give you and this. Let's go back to, you said in the special. I did not watch the special because I'm done with this. Just like I'm done with Star Wars. It was a nice chapter. It was a nice time of my life when Stranger Things was respectable. But you said I've heard and seen that they were still writing while they were filming. And I think that happens, but it usually only happens when something's a train wreck. You find out later, they were still writing the ending, and you're like, oh, well, you can tell. But they were, and I think you could get away with it, but you've got to pay attention to what you've already filmed, which nobody was. We haven't even talked about Elle. Can we talk about that for a second? Right after 11. I say this? Yeah. So, for example, episode 1 or 2, Steve and who's the other boyfriend?
Jonathan.
Steve and Jonathan, fighting for Nancy's affections, decide to race up the radio tower. They just look at each other and then they take off, and they're climbing up neither one of them's a jock. They race up the radio tower. It takes a few minutes. They get up to the top. All right, we've established the radio tower and the amount of strength and time and energy it takes to get up there. Flash forward to the finale. Okay, no, we're going to climb up this tower. I don't know why you had to put this speech in there. Because nobody watched the first episode that was writing this dialogue. Okay, we're going to climb up this tower. Everybody be careful. Take your time because it's very treacherous and it's going to be very hard to do. There's landings along the way, so make sure you take a break. This is after those two guys just went speeding up. Didn't bring a lunch, didn't bring a water bottle, didn't stop and rest. Okay, these guys, and then you could just leave that out. You could just leave that bit of dialogue out. Somebody should have said, wait, those guys in episode 1 just, they ran up it. I don't know if we need to lay that speech in there so much. And it's extraneous dialogue. There's no point to it. But then the next scene is Mike, and he's all hunched over like he's been working in the coal mine all day, slave labor, and he's huffing and puffing, and he's got his thermos there, and he's getting some water. Because this is such a strenuous climb, and it's taking all the time, and then Will comes up, and they have their conversation. You could have just had them, and he could have even been stopping and take a drink. But when you put it after that conversation, it's like, the tower's not that tall. Yeah. Even better, you could have had them two climbing and sort of talking at the same time, and then at the same time on the other side of the tower, two characters could have been climbing and talking, and you could have built some character that way. That's just me off the top of my head right here, trying to figure that out and come up with a better way to do that dialogue rather than them stopping and taking a break on a tower that doesn't require a break. But let's go to Elle for a second. Again, the people writing at the end while the show is being shot never bothered to look at what you already shot. Because in the first half of the episodes, Elle can't jump over a fence and do a couple things, very small things, and not need a bucket of beef jerky and a nap to recharge her battery, right? Correct. They established that. Even further along, when they go to sneak into the base, they're in the regular Hawkins, and they've got them big metal plates, and this is immediately preceding what she's about to do. She lifts up, and I grant it's a heavy metal plate, but everybody's back in the background watching her, stupid because there's 15 people standing there, and she, it's a big dramatic scene. She has to flip this thing. Finally, she flips it. She's using all of her power to flip this sheet, which it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. Like they literally probably could have. Granted, they could have. Everybody could have lifted it, I bet. If everybody got under the lip, they could have lifted it up over their head to give her a head start. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not that heavy. But she's using all of her power. She's struggling to get it up. Now, if we go back to the first half of the season, she should have needed a bucket of beef jerky and a nap at that point. But no. Then we get to the finale. I don't even know what are you thinking? At this point, somebody has to say no, or we got to go back and reshoot and take out some dialogue. You could have just done it in editing. Took out a couple scenes where she doesn't need a bucket of beef jerky.
Because, mind you, this finale, she is doing X, Y, and Z before this moment even occurs. She's in the tank. She's jumping. She has to ascend the height of the tower at least on her abilities alone. She doesn't have a tower to climb up. She has to push herself up rocks and mountains to get to the gate.
Wait.
And then...
But when you look at that, where she has to jump to...
That's what I'm saying. It's not like lily pads and Soak City.
It is across the... It's way over there. Like, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So she's not really jumping. She's flying.
She's flying. Point. And all this happens right before this. Right. This moment, which should have been enough to knock her out. A giant boulder, roughly the size of a mountain, goes flying from who knows where, mind you.
Right.
It comes flying out of nowhere, hits the giant monster, and with enough force to knock it on its butt. She then runs, dodges its little pincer attacks, launches herself up, rips its throat open, tucks and rolls, takes Vecna in a one-on-one fight.
And you're brushing over it there.
That's what I'm saying.
But she's jumping, and then I saw somebody in a comment, they showed that picture with her jumping in the air, ripping that picture, and somebody goes, now I know why she was training and jumping over the bus. She's jumping over a bus. I could almost jump over a bus. You know what I mean? Give me a running start and a trampoline, I can jump over the bus. There's no comparison. Plus, previously jumping over the bus was wearing her out. She was using her powers. Here, she's not jumping over a bus. She's jumping 70 feet in the air.
After, though, again, after being in the tank for who knows how long and taking Max and Callie with her and fighting Vecna in that realm, then she wakes up, does the jumps, and then proceeds to throw the boulder and jump and dodge attacks and jump up and rip the monster open.
Yeah, rip the monster
Mind
open.
you, because everybody else is like, we gotta use flamethrowers and whatnot. It seems like she could
Does
just
the monster
tear
not
it
have any
apart.
ability to like go, no, I don't want my guts ripped open. I'm a mind flayer. I can flay minds.
Yeah, like what is rip the monster open? I would have been like, wait, call her back out here real quick so she can kill this thing, because she can just rip it apart. And
Yeah,
then we'll
why
all
go
go in
inside?
and fight Vecna together.
Let's just rip its legs off.
Rip
If we
its
can
legs
do
off
that.
for us. We'll all walk in and we'll just beat Vecna with the weapons we have.
So bad. So at that point I'm just like, what are we doing?
What happened here?
What happened here? So this
It's
is
a
bad
shame.
writing.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
The point is, Stranger Things Season 5 was a shame.
Here's another one that happened throughout, and it's another criticism I have of this generation of writing or movie producing or whatever. And it happens in Weapons. It happens in that movie Weapons. It happens all the time. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's have Elle jump through the air and rip open its guts and go inside. That's cool. Yeah, it is cool. But it makes no sense.
Yeah, you literally set up the opposite for that.
Yeah, you set up the opposite, but now, again, this is another thing I just am thinking of right now. Why couldn't the Mind Flayer go, no, I don't want my guts ripped open? He's the Mind Flayer. That's his realm, is this telekinetic...
Dimension X, yeah, it's completely his. Everything you're saying, physically, mentally, even spiritually, they're in his realm. He shouldn't be weak to her. He shouldn't be able... I mean, literally, and his throat opens up. It's like, what?
And none of these characters, like going back to the Will, when he got his powers for the first time, and she's snapping in 3 different locations. It's cool, but I'm just not sure that... And again, and when Max is trying to escape and Will takes over Vecna and breaks his leg and talks through him, that's cool.
Do it again.
Why? Yeah. Why
But
don't
this
we do
time
that all the
snap his
time?
neck.
But why does
doing snapping his leg? You have that ability. He's in
Yeah,
shock.
why
I'd be like, oh wait a minute, let me see if I can do this.
But how does Vecna not... Vecna is more powerful and you're in his realm utilizing his tools, the mind, he can't do that back?
None of it makes sense. It's bad writing.
Speak through you and break your neck?
It's just contrived and convenient because they were just like, they don't know how to create obstacles and really overcome them, is what it seemed like.
Again, obviously we're doing what we claimed we weren't going to do.
We're not going to do it.
No, I got to do this one last one. No Demogorgons, no creatures in the Dimension X. And the excuse
Or in the
was...
Upside Down either.
And the excuse was...
Demogorgon fatigue.
No. Well, the excuse I heard was, well, Vecna was taken by surprise and he really wasn't expecting to be attacked in his own... Really? Really, Vecna? You were surprised? Will took over your body and mind and spoke through your mouth and broke your leg. And you had no inkling.
Even if that was your first interaction with these people.
Even if it was your first interaction.
You'd be like, wait a minute, somebody's out there to get me. But you've had a whole season.
No,
you had season 4. You had the season 4 to be like, oh yeah, I guess, because he's the villain from episode 1. So 4 seasons, 5 seasons now.
These meddling kids.
These people have been, this same group of people are always messing up my plans. And I'm not going to prepare for that.
But now I don't think they'll be around. They probably are not looking for Holly, their sister, who I had to send Max. I had to send Demodogs after Max, and guess what? Max woke up, so now there's another person out to get me. Come on, man. That's what are we doing here?
Shame.
Who's writing that garbage? Who? Even if you thought that, somebody in the room didn't go, guys, I think probably Vecna... I mean, I get where you're coming from. You're the Duffer Brothers. It's your thing. But do you think Vecna maybe might suspect something is up?
Yeah, I don't know.
Will is breaking his leg. Max has escaped. All them kids are out there. They keep showing up.
Yeah, they show up everywhere.
It's bad. All right, so I think the bottom line, we got this off our chest. But, you know, if you like it, awesome, but don't try to defend. You can like it. Like I say, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, they've had some bad movies with some bad acting, but I like them.
Yeah, great guys.
I'm not going to try and tell you they should be winning Academy Awards. No. I'm not trying to tell you they're always on the top scripts.
But you know what?
I like them.
They at least had 4 good movies like Stranger Things. 4 good seasons.
Yeah, 4 good seasons. Good run.
Shame how it ended.
Shame how it ended. That it?
That's it.
All right. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out the Popcast merch at SanduskySodaPops.com. Hit the t-shirt button. And we'll see you next time. I don't know what will be the next time.
Hopefully it'll be something good.
What's coming up?
I don't know. We need something good.
We're in the
We're
desert.
struggling.
We're in the desert of January, February.
Yeah, we might just have to
March.
start making stuff up.
And we'll make some stuff up. Or, better yet, why don't you drop us a comment
Of what we should do.
Yeah, top 5. We did top 5 horror movies. We did a Star Wars annual. We did our top movies of all time, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the top 5 horror.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could come up with something.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.